Well, instead of debating DEI, why don't you define it further so we can make sure we're talking about the same thing?
Got you. So diversity, equity, and inclusion.
I know what that means.
Okay, my fault.
I would say DEI stands for didn't earn it, but that's a separate issue.
Ooh, didn't earn it. You been working on that? Type.
That
Well,
their
again,
religion teaches on the rest of the society.
Again,
is what I'm saying.
First of all, you can't have a free society without having some sort of a belief in God.
So then why should we use Christian teachings to apply that to the rest
Well,
of society when they disagree with them?
First of all, it's the best. Show me a better alternative. No, seriously, I mean, you can laugh at it. Show me a society that has gone away from Christianity and has improved itself.
what I'm
No,
saying.
no, it's important.
Okay.
I believe that America should remain Christian. Show me a formerly Christian country in Europe that has gone away from Christianity and has become a better, stronger, more better. Like,
What's up, YouTube? Hope you guys are feeling good. Today, guys, we're back here on a new video. Today, we're going to be checking out Charlie Kirk brings hate to Florida State University. This is FSU. This is going to be amazing. According to Charlie Kick, because he loves kicking us. Let's get right into today's video, guys.
First of all, I just want to say, man, I'm excited to see you. I watch your videos all the time. I disagree heavily, and I originally wanted to come up here and maybe troll, but I actually have a genuine question for you. And my question to that is, why is it that you are in strong support of religious values being instilled as American values and protected by the Constitution when our founding fathers kind of tried to stray away from a instillment of a specific religion on the entire country?
well, I would reject the premise, but let's just kind of let's ask you, by what standard do you think we should live by?
Standard in the country, live by?
Just as humanity, what should we say is good or evil, and where should we get that from?
I think that we should have a set amount of values that come from what we as a society kind of create, and that can be contributed by a mix of different religions and perspectives and opinions, which is why I disagree with the instillment of a specific religion on the entire country.
So let's just, I'll tell you what I believe. I believe specifically the 10 Commandments is a great place to start. What would you say are rules for life, and where do we get them from, and why should we believe them?
You're asking me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so again, like I said, I think that a lot of things we can point to the Bible, we can point to the 10 Commandments, we can point to a lot of these teachings, and we can say, okay, here's a good set of values that we have that are outlined in the 10 Commandments, in the Bible, and stuff like that. But we can also, what that raises the issues of is what that does for the rest of the country. Because if you flip that logic and you applied it to, let's say, values of Islam, values of Hinduism, values of Buddhism.
We weren't founded on those values, though.
Correct.
Right?
We were not founded on those values, but also I think that just because we were founded on beneficial values of a specific religion does not mean that we as a country should look to solidify the entire country in religion. And what we're seeing a lot in government is more religious involvement. We're seeing a lot of money.
Which we should. We should have a ton more religious involvement. And the reason primarily being is if America goes secular, it will lose its mind.
Would you agree then?
And we're seeing that.
Would you agree with if the president elected was Muslim or had a different religion than you? Would you also?
Well, let's take Vivek. I mean, Vivek has a worldview that I share. Vivek is a Hindu.
But how would you feel with those values as a whole
I just
being?
said, I mean, Vivek is a Hindu, but Vivek would come up here and say the 10 Commandments is one of the greatest moral breakthroughs ever. The point being, and this is what I'm getting at, is that Christianity is the greatest ethic that humanity has ever had to live under.
True.
Hold on a second.
Sorry.
Christianity, as we know it, is the greatest moral ethic, and these are things you agree with. You know, love the stranger. You know, help others. Have justice.
Love thy neighbor.
Yeah, love thy neighbor as yourself, like Leviticus 19, right? These are beautiful teachings. In fact, they're so beautiful that you think that they're common, when in reality the rest of the world doesn't always have them. Even freedom of speech and natural rights and charity to the lesser, these are all Christian values. So what I'm getting at, though, is if we remove Christian values, which you may or may not be suggesting, what do we replace them with?
I guess my question is more centered around using taxpayer dollars. Well, I guess I can lead with a question. How do you feel about taxpayer dollars using to fund things like Bible teachings in public schools?
Yeah, I totally support that. The Bible is a historical document.
And so my question again is, how would you feel about taxpayer dollars going towards teachings of the Quran?
Well, they actually do that already.
And are you in support of it?
Hold on a second. Pause. We do have a religious texts of a lot of public schools. Yes, we should look at all religious texts of great faiths and learn and examine them. You know, okay, what does the Quran say? What does the Bible say? If it's in a public school.
But I think you know what I'm pointing at.
Sort of, but it's important to understand, though, that only one of those texts was believed and continued this country moving forward, which, of course, is the Holy Bible. And the teachings of the Bible We're at 55 out of 56 of the signers of the Constitution. We're Bible-believing, church-attending Christians. God is mentioned 4 times in the Declaration of Independence, right? We were an explicitly Christian country. In fact, John Adams said that the Constitution was written wholly for a moral and religious people. It's wholly inadequate for the people of any other. I might not convince you on this. What I might convince you on, though, is that if you say Christianity should not be involved in our government, fine. You got to replace it with something. And if you say it's neutral, there's no such thing as a neutral public square. It doesn't exist.
Yeah, I'm not necessarily saying that, and I'll be quick because I know there's other people I want to talk to. But what I'm saying is, I would say that I disagree strictly with a certain teaching, a certain religion being the basis of what we take all beneficial teaching that we apply to the United States.
Fine, but then who chooses the moral code?
I think that the people as a whole who can represent different religions,
how do we
who
do
can
that?
represent different beliefs and opinions. It shouldn't have to come from a specific religion, because what does that one religion teach that the other opposing viewpoints or atheism can't teach?
Hold on a second. No, that's an interesting question. What does Christianity teach that others do not? A lot. A lot. For example, in Christianity explicitly, there are beliefs that are not found in Buddhism or Hinduism. And again, just look at the fruit. The West is a Christian project. So why would we cut the fruit from its vine? Why would we cut the flower from its roots?
Yeah, and my question is because I think that there's a lot of disagreeing points of view that conflict that, right? Abortion rights. I know that it is a largely Christian value to not be in support of a woman's right to choose whether or not she has an abortion,
to protect
and I know that
life,
you are
sure.
also anti-democracy, and
I'm pro-elections, but yeah.
yes, and you're opposed to just the majority ruling over the rest of people, right? And so why is it that you are in support of people that make up the slight majority having power to instill legislation and rules and laws that their religion teaches on the rest of the society?
Again,
is what I'm saying.
First of all, you can't have a free society without having some sort of a belief in God.
So then why should we use Christian teachings to apply that to the rest of society when they disagree with them?
First of all, it's the best. Show me a better alternative. No, seriously, I mean, you can laugh at it. Show me a society that has gone away from Christianity and has improved itself.
What I'm saying.
No, it's important.
Okay.
I believe that America should remain Christian. Show me a formerly Christian country in Europe that has gone away from Christianity and has become a better, stronger, better.
What I would point you to is probably towards a country that does not apply those values to things like abortion rights. So I'll probably point you to I'll probably point to Norway. I'd probably point you to a lot of the places like that, because they're not having people die from lack of access to abortion.
And this is where we just have disagreement. I think Europe is a disaster right now.
Okay.
I think Europe is a husk of its former self.
What I'm arguing is that I'm saying in the specific areas of that there's not people literally like dying because they're forced to give birth to a human that they don't want to carry and they don't have proper access to abortion, and those are Christian teachings that are not.
Yeah, in this country we have babies literally dying in the womb every single day.
Yeah. I mean,
3,000 abortions a day.
I mean, I think that's a big deal, but I also at the same time, there are those same Christian teachings.
I would just ask again. You don't have to answer it. This is an interesting question for you, and I want you to think about this for the next week or two.
Okay.
The most important book in my life, of which all truth stems from, is the Bible. Correct. What is your most important book?
Right Wing Revolution by Charlie Kirk.
Without the troll, though, but it's important because at some point you have to appeal to something. You have to have a rule book. Every species, all human beings need a rule book for life. We tell you what our rule book is. I know it's like putting you on the spot, but think about it.
Yeah.
And if you don't have a rule book, you're lying to yourself. Everybody has a rule book you live by. You just got to tell us what it is.
That's true.
All right,
Thank
cool.
you.
Thank you, man. Think about that, okay?
Hey, Charlie, thank you for being here. My question to you, and I just want to confirm your position on something. You are anti-death penalty, is that correct?
Pro.
You're pro-death penalty.
I've done this once already, but yes, correct.
Okay.
I used to be anti, but yes, fine.
I just want to ask about consistency. One thing that irritates me about liberals is they'll say things like, yeah, we're pro-choice. But then when it comes to vaccinations and my body, my choice, suddenly they're not so pro-choice anymore. I feel like conservatives do the same thing, but on the pro-life side. So can you defend?
Come on, man, you seem so much smarter than that. What do you think my answer is?
Because they did something bad.
Well, yeah.
But if life is invaluable, then why do you not consider it valuable throughout the whole lifespan, not just the beginning?
Because you believe in putting criminals in jail, right?
Yes.
Which is a taking of their rights.
Not their life.
Well, again, but their whole life is completely changed. So I guess it's also an insult to the victim, isn't it? Saying that your life doesn't matter so much that your murderer can keep on living, but you yourself aren't living. It actually devalues the value of the victim, or the victims, actually, in a lot of times. And you have this is Make America Holy Again.
Yes.
God repeated in all 5 books of the Torah, you take a life, your life will be taken. To the consistency argument, if there is a baby here, in the womb, that baby has done nothing wrong. Whereas a guy who went and shot up a school did a lot wrong. And so the only answer is to say, we value human life so much that you don't get to keep on living if you take a precious human life. It's actually an explicitly pro-life position because it's honoring the dead and honoring the victim so much that it's not just one to be discarded. That's, it's not just a clump of cells. You see, to be against the death penalty is actually consistent for the left because they're like, it's just a bunch of clump of cells that got shot up at a school. It doesn't really matter. Go put him in a jail. Where we say, no, that's a life you took, and you don't get to keep on having breath if you go take another precious human life. Does that make sense?
It makes sense. And how do you defend there's a flat-out commandment? It doesn't get much clearer. Thou shalt not kill.
We did this earlier.
I can't hear anything on the other side.
That's all right.
I'm sorry.
Okay, it says thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not murder, not thou shalt not kill. So killing and murder are two different words in Hebrew. It says thou shalt not murder, not kill. Again, I could repeat this just over on ad nauseum. God has a law in the scriptures. If you are to take a life, your life shall be taken from you. Why is that? God went and explained in the Torah, it's because human life is so precious, you shall not be able to continue. The only punishment is that your life should also be taken from you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very
I'm trying
much.
to debate. I just want to hear your
No
explanation.
worries. It's fine. Thank you. Yep.
What's up, Charlie? Welcome to Florida State. My question has to do with culture. I was wondering, close to the mic? Okay. I was wondering, why doesn't the right have, the left has dominated culture for so long. They had, the feminist movement. We can blame that for destroying the nuclear home. We can blame that for destroying marriages in a lot of ways. But how do we kind of work backwards from that, kind of get back to, the core American values, lower the divorce rate, lower single motherhood, things like that? It doesn't seem to be a practical solution that's been even attempted by the right.
Well, the practical solution, we don't have to think. We need to point people to God and eventually to Jesus Christ, and that is the solution, is that people need to humble themselves before the Lord. They need to go back to church. They need to get married before they have sex. They need to stop engaging in debauchery and limitless amounts of drinking and the sins of the flesh, and understand that there's a God who loves them, that wants them to live a certain way. And it's not a matter of the feminist movement or the Black Lives Matter movement. We need a movement that is centered around spiritual, eternal principles. And make America holy again, make America Christian again. But a revival will only happen with repentance, and repentance is at odds with pride. And so we have an entire month dedicated to pride, by the way, which is you must acknowledge two things. There is a God, and we are not him. Those two things are fundamental towards having, hopefully, the humility of getting in front of your Creator, understanding that you fall short of the glory of God with the eyes on the cross and understanding the significance of what the cross is and what it means for your life. And with that will come widespread nationwide change. We are seeing some promising trends. Church attendance is slightly going up. Gen Z, especially Gen Z men, are more religious than millennial men, and it is increasing and growing. And young women, we got some things to work through. But we will not save the country just through politics. Politics is a means towards an end, a means towards liberty, but liberty is not man's idea, it's God's idea. And we are only able to experience that liberty if we are a moral and religious people. And I'll close with the statement with this, that the Constitution is incompatible with a faithless nation. You will not have a free society if the country goes atheist. You will not have a free society if the country goes secular. That sounds provocative, but it's true, is that liberty and freedom cannot coexist with a nation that does not believe in a higher power. Because eventually, you're going to want to have some form of meaning in your life, and usually that meaning is left-wing politics. And I'm not trying to pick on all those people chanting out there, because they're actually crying for help, and I mean that. Because how many of them, and I mean this, how many of them do you think go to church on a regular basis? Almost none. And that's not me picking on them. But there's a reason, because they're having a quasi-religious experience right now. They're all chanting at the same time. They feel like they're part of something bigger. They think they're fighting evil, which of course they're not. But there's a religious element to that. When America was at its best, when you didn't march in the streets, but instead you went to the church and bowed before your Creator to go find your meaning. And so when they're chanting out here, you should love on them, be like, do you believe in God? Have you been to church? And I guarantee almost to a person, 99% of the activist left on this campus has either a bad experience with religion, doesn't think that God loves them, doesn't think that God is good, or they're an atheist. So you fill that void with left-wing politics, because left-wing politics mirrors religion. It feels like a religious experience. So there's a thinker by the name of Emil Durkheim, which some of you guys may or may not know, who talked about what is religion. And he says the things that have in common of religion is that people will all say the same thing. They'll meet on a regular basis. They'll agree on an objective. That is the Black Lives Matter movement or the trans movement or whatever. And we should say, hey, instead of making those things your God, you should believe in the God of the Bible, the God that loved you enough to send his son to die for you so that you may live forever. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Hi, Charlie. It's nice to meet you. My name is Salma. Thanks for coming. As a child of a Moroccan and Peruvian immigrants who came into the U.S. legally and were in the process for 10 years, it's frustrating to see so much biased media outlets nowadays propagandizing Trump as a racist who doesn't want immigrants in this country instead of understanding he's protecting us from illegal criminals who cut in line. So to inform the liberals behind us protesting to get racists off campus, or people listening right now, what would you say are the long-term or short-term consequences of mass illegal immigration on social services and the economy?
Yeah, I mean, it will flood schools, flood hospitals, but even more than that, it's the destruction of the rule of law. And it's an insult to your family that followed the law. Your family came here the right way and filled out the paperwork and waited your turn. You did not cut in line.
Yeah.
So we have to make a decision. Are we going to be a country that follows and honors the rules or rewards rule breakers? And we teach our kids at 2 years old, rule breakers get punished. Don't cut in line. Wait your turn. Yet when it comes to immigration, we act as if it's something totally different. We want people like your family to come here the right way, legally, not breaking in line and then all of a sudden getting rewards because of that.
Oh, my bad. I'm sorry. What's up, Charlie? So I am a second-year master's student in student affairs, and I see you got an anti-DEI shirt on, so this is about to get good. I personally believe in DEI. I think that actually helps with creating inclusivity within PWIs and predominantly white institutions. And I also believe that, I go to FSU, that's where I go at. But I also believe that this is the reason why I wanted to get into student affairs, because I believe that with the DEI being present within our campuses, we actually are able to build inclusivity for students who are first gen, for minoritized students, for veteran students who are coming onto these campuses and actually being able to feel like they have somewhere for them on campus. As well, I understand the counter argument, but I'm gonna let you go first. I'm sorry.
Well, instead of debating DEI, why don't you define it further so we can make sure we're talking about the same thing?
Got you. So diversity, equity, and inclusion.
I know what that means.
Okay, my fault.
I would say DEI stands for didn't earn it, but that's a separate issue.
Ooh.
True.
Didn't earn it. You been working on that? Type. So yes, a lot of people think that, and in that regards, which is a counter argument to it. But I honestly believe that the fact that you got to this point where you was already unrepresented on these campuses already shows that you did actually earn to get those fundings, did actually earn to get that inclusivity tailored to you. Because the fact that you even made it to the campus where a lot of people in disproportionate communities don't make it a lot out of, at least you can have is a place on campus where you feel included at. That would be my argument.
Yeah, so I don't know what DEI looks like on this campus. So, so I can't speak to that. Let's try to find some common ground.
Okay.
Do you think people should be hired based on their race or their competency?
I don't think that. I think they should be race.
Which one?
My fault. Sorry. My fault. I think that they should be hired based off their competency, not their race.
We totally agree, right?
Okay.
So what DEI does in practice, not in theory, is it focuses on race more than competency. And
Okay.
That is our concern.
Okay.
And so what I want, and you seem, very passionate about a lot of things, and you obviously have skills. For your life, I want you always to be judged on the content of your character, not the color of your skin. Which is actually, as you know, Martin Luther King gave this big speech, and yeah, I know, but he is an ideal. I agree with this sentence for sure. where DEI says, no, we're actually going to care more about skin color than competency. And so what we want is an America based on merit, America based on how hard you work, an America based on what you bring to the table, not just what you look like.
I got you, and I understand that it's very well, and I think that that's a profound position to have with it. And
No, you're good. Yeah.
and I know you gotta go, so
No, you're good. Keep going.
Okay. So my last thing is, and I'll make it short because we aren't going to agree on that, but agree on the whole anti-DEI act movement. But I will say that Drake or Kendrick Lamar, who won?
I like Kendrick Lamar. I'm not a rapper guy, but I'll say at least the only thing I know about this is the anti-pedophile thing, which I support completely.
Okay.
So the fact he goes after Drake for being
No, you can't say that. Sexy songs for you, baby. You know what I'm saying? Go Drake.
I don't know a
Okay.
single song between either of them. All I know is that if you even engage in pedophile stuff, you're no go. So,
Type.
but can we both agree though
Yes.
that the less we talk about race as a country, probably better. That if we look at people as human beings first and not race.
I agree with that.
Okay, we
I
can
can agree.
agree. Thank you, man. God bless you. Thank you.
Yeah, this was very civil. It was a very civil conversation. I think this was the best conversation I've seen Charlie talking with the black man with. This was very civil. Okay, let's go. Let's wrap it up. Starting from the first guy who was talking about religion. Religion is very, very ethnical for any country. Any country that do not have a religion backed by it, for me, it's surely destroy. It doesn't last long. For me, if you say the country is atheist, it doesn't have balance. They have to have a faith, something they believe in. Either you being a Christian, either you being a Muslim, a Hindu, a Jewish, and you have to have a religion backed by you. You have to believe in something. You can't tell me neutral or normal. No. There must be a religion backed by the country. You understand? So like US is basically a Christian country. I know that there are other religions too in US, no doubt. Actually, almost all the countries in the world have multiple religion. But there is always a majority number that are in this particular religion. Do you understand? So that is just it. Charlie's point of view is that you have to have a faith. You have to have something you believe in. If not, your mission is kind of like pointless. The country's mission in particular is kind of like pointless. You understand? You have to have... Also, the second guy who said, make America holy again. It was beautiful dialogue. Literally the entire students, their discussion with Charlie was actually beautiful to listen to. I actually respected the entire dialogue and discussion. It was an amazing topic that they all brought out. Also, the girl who said she and her family spent 10 years before they were actually made a citizen in the United States. I feel like it's a slap to the girl's family when they see people cutting in line because they waited 10 years. 10 years before they were able to get the citizenship, guys. That is a lot of time. You understand? So anyone who wants to come to the US, you have to go through the right process. Then the last guy about the DEI, he was sensible in order to agree with Charlie. What we should look at more is not about skin color, but about our character, about what we are doing, morals. You understand? Behavior matters. Skin color itself should not even be in your mind, because the more we talk about skin color, the more this racism aspect we have so far in America will hardly go away. We have to talk about different things in America and look at personalities more than skin tone, not skin color. So guys, comment down below what you think about this video. Give us a thumbs up, share this video to as many as you can. Subscribe to our channel, guys, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Make sure you stay safe.